The title of today's class is Our Ethical and Spiritual Covenant, a Preamble to Legal Business Contract. Our Ethical and Spiritual Covenant, Preamble to the Legal Business Contract. So what I'm going to be talking about is a preamble that precedes a contract. So you can have a contract with business partners or clients or vendors, whatever the situation is, but this is a preamble that precedes it. It's an ethical and spiritual covenant. Now, there's a saying, all is fair in love and war. And business is often subsumed under war. So it's basically saying anything, whatever you can do, whatever you can get away with, you're going to do that, and you should do that. It's business. Nothing personal, it's just business. And when I've talked to people about the contract that I'm going to read to you, the covenant that I'm going to read to you, the reaction was that there's some question mark whether it's possible for people to really follow these principles. There's the belief in our society, whether people want to admit it or not, that evil trumps goodness, that evil is stronger than goodness. And it's going to come out, if anything's going to bring it out, it's money. When it comes to money, and that's what business is about, or what people consider it to be about, the most important thing is money at any cost. So people will try to put a contract totally in their favor. And then if they have a contract, they'll find any way to wiggle out of it or around it, or violate it if they can get away with it and maximize their gain and minimize the other person's gain. People will do this sometimes out of greed. And sometimes they just don't want the other person to have the upper hand. They say, well, gee, if he has a stronger position in the agreement, he may abuse his power against me. So I'm going to get the upper hand, not because I'm going to be unfair or do something wrong. I don't trust him or her with that power. So I'm going to get all the chips in my hand, and then I'll be more fair to him than he would have been to me. That's one of the justifications for doing these machinations and manipulations. The basic premise that I'm taking flies totally in the face of conventional thinking. The basic premise is goodness trumps evil. It's almost saying God is stronger than the devil. Whereas most people believe when it comes to business, the devil is stronger than God. If you really look at it, in people's belief system, they believe when it comes to money, the devil is stronger than God. I know it's hard to imagine when you put it in those terms, but that's really the belief system. And then you have some people who will do all kinds of manipulations, are deceitful, and then will go and worship in their own way and talk about God and unity and brotherhood and charitable works. And that hypocrisy has been with us from the beginning. With fire, the gold is tested, and with gold, we are tested. So a business contract is an opportunity to grow spiritually. So although a person says, well, the money really matters, spiritual prosperity trumps physical prosperity. That's another. Goodness trumps evil, and spiritual prosperity trumps material prosperity. So the question is, do you want to make money and do something wrong with somebody and thus affect, or I raise the question of what effect does this have for your journey during eternity for the short period of time we're here? That's the question you want to ask. Is it, do I want to do something wrong over here, lie, cheat, deceive, get ahead so I can provide more money for my family and friends and live with more comfort at the cost of what might happen to me during eternity? So this is the prologue to getting into reading to you the covenant. But before I do that, I can't emphasize enough how much people honestly believe evil trumps goodness when it comes to business.